What's up, y'all? We back with another episode. Today, I have a good brother here that hopped on. I genuinely don't know much about him, so I'm actually really excited. He popped up on the leaderboards, just started crushing it. Bought some leads a few months ago and then went MIA and then just randomly texted me and was like, yo, I smacked some deals. What's up with these other leads? And tried them out, smacking deals. I'm like, oh, this dude's just a closer. So none other than, man, James, thank you for hopping on today, brother.
Hello, how are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, dude, let's hop into it, bro. I want to learn a little bit more about you genuinely, man. Tell me, like, bro, what were you doing before life insurance? How did you get to
Mhm.
the space? I mean, give people some background before we hop into it.
Yeah, so I'm actually a full-time college student right now. I'm only 20 years old, and I started about a year and some months ago when I was 19. My friend actually got an Instagram DM, or my roommate, I should say, got an Instagram DM about life insurance, and he didn't really want to take the opportunity. So I went through all the licensing, all that stuff, and then started that actually was selling there, and I honestly didn't do too bad there. I know there's actually a lot of like pretty bad reviews about Globe Life, so I started there, didn't do too bad, and then my roommate who told me about life insurance was like, oh shoot, dude, you're actually like doing something, you're making money, all that, and he actually came on and was my downline at
Hmm.
and then, towards the end, didn't really see the scalability there, didn't really like what the company was about. And so I moved over to FFL, where I currently am. And kind of when I started there, that was about a year ago, beginning of sophomore year of college. And I started there with leads that the company provided for me, which was age veteran. I mean, they were like 1, 2 years old. Wasn't doing too bad with them, honestly, but definitely was trying to figure out a reliable lead source that I could use and consistently buy leads and have them consistently come into me. And so yeah, then I started doing fresh vet from leads, heard of them before, and didn't really. I mean, they were good for a couple months, but then they had a major drop off, and I was like, all right, back to the drawing board of again trying to find leads. Tried out age, wasn't really having too much luck with them. And then my upline, FFL, told me about Agent Lead Lab. And so here I come and I bought some fresh truckers from you guys. Didn't have too much of bad luck with them. Actually sold a couple deals out of them. Went MIA for a little bit, like you said. And then I saw something about the blue collars. And I was like, you know what? Might as well try them out. Absolutely crushed it with those. And then now I'm trying some bets and I'm pretty much sold on Agent Lead Lab from there.
Yeah, dude. All right, bro. So let's take some steps back, bro, because
Yeah,
I didn't even know all that happened. All right, so agent heard the story. Now I want to talk about, bro, how are your first 30 days like?
yeah.
Did you get your teeth kicked in, bro? Was it hard to transition? I guess agents are watching this. They're like, y'all want to get like James, etc. What were those first 30 days for you? And if you could kind of walk people through,
Mhm.
did you have a learning curve, etc.?
Yeah, it was definitely a grind the first 30 days. I told myself in the first 30 days not to have a high expectation of having results like that. My biggest concern in my first 30 days was actually just putting in the hours. I wasn't focused on the results at all. I couldn't really care less about if I made a sale or not. I just wanted to, be able to show myself that I could put XYZ hours in every single day because I believed in myself. I knew the results would follow if I did that. I definitely got my teeth kicked in the first 30 days. I mean, I was calling these leads and they're screaming at me, telling me, go away, frick off, whatever. And, it definitely was a little demotivating at times. But again, in the back of my mind, I was like, the only thing that I can control right now is the hours. I know, once you hit a sale or two, you're going to have momentum, then you can start scaling, buying fresh leads. But ultimately, it was, you're going to get no's. It's going to happen. It's part of the business. I learned that quickly. And yeah, I just knew that, once you ride it out, you're bound to succeed with it.
Yeah. Now, when you came in, because I know you ran truckers, did you
Mhm.
start out with running just like age veteran leads or like what was the lead type that you originally started out?
No, so the leads type that I started off with, it was, I mean, I think it'd be similar to blue collars. It was, which are
Okay.
pretty much blue collars workers. But then when I started at FFL, it was age vet. But both of them, I mean, they were at least 2 years old, 1, 2 years old. I mean, they were not happy when you called them about it at all.
Yeah. Nah, understood, bro. So, dude, first of all, I didn't know you were 20, and I also didn't know you were in college, which is mad
Yeah.
dope. We are getting like more clients, and obviously the space is growing to where like when I started 5 years ago in the industry, I was like young and I was 24. You know what I mean? So like now it's like you got people in college. So, bro, like walk me through. We're gonna get into sell stuff, but I have to ask, bro, what is
Yeah.
your schedule, bro? Like, what are you? Walk me through how you're doing it, because just for context, y'all, we're gonna get into his numbers, but he's slinging insurance. Like he's not a slouch, so it's not like he's just like putting up baby numbers. But bro, walk me through like literally like what is your schedule from morning to evening? Like how are you juggling all this, brother?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's a busy schedule, but I know I'm young, got a lot left to do in my life. So, I mean, I love the grind. A day in the life of when, I'm doing school and insurance, it's a wake up 5 a.m., go to the gym, get a little gym session in, come back, have an 8 a.m. class. And then I usually have a break from around 10 a.m. to around 1 p.m., which I'll dial from there. And then I have classes from 2 to 5 p.m. And then after that, I have dial time of 5 to probably 11 p.m. and then rinse and repeat. I usually take off Saturday and Sundays, because I need a little rest. But it's definitely a grind. I've still got 2 years left of doing it, so halfway done. But yeah, it was hard to kind of get the hang of it at the beginning, just because it is a lot when you're studying and then you want to make money on the side. But for right now, the summer's been great because I haven't had to worry about the school. It's been, I get to sleep in a little more, probably wake up at 7 a.m., go to the gym, and then dial from 10 a.m. all the way to like 11 p.m. Long hours for sure.
Dude, you're getting it in, bro. Okay, man. Damn. All right. We're gonna be bringing the so just for context, when people are watching this, probably down the line when people do watch this, we had to pause our truckers because we're making them better and bringing them back out, right? Which
Yeah.
is the conversation that James has. So context before we roll into this blue collar combo. James tries out these truckers. We rolled them out. I had tested them with a few guys. They were slinging. I was like, yo, we're gonna actually release these, but they weren't text verified. So I go and tell the team, like, yo, push these out. Lo and behold, we start getting crazy orders, right? We get so many orders. I think James' order took like 3 weeks to deliver. It was extremely long. So it was so backed up. And like we transparently, just so everybody understands, like we went in the red. Like it was bad. Like, because we didn't realize how many people were going to want them. And they weren't text verified. So I don't really love giving away non-text verified leads. There's a lot of replacements, etc. So what happened was James buys the leads and I don't hear from him. I'm like, oh man, he thought they were bad. Like, damn. And then I just randomly get a text a few weeks ago and he's like, yeah, bro, like let's hop on a quick call. We chopped it up and he was like, yeah, man, I mean, I sold a handful. I like the leads. You said he was trying some other stuff out. And he was like, what's up with these blue collars? And I was like, dude, this is an untapped niche. Nobody's really doing them. I don't have like a whole lot of people on them, but I was like, bro, if you like truckers, you'll probably like this. And he told me a little bit about what he sold before. So, dude, I guess let's start here, bro. Like, talk about the lead at first, bro. Because like you're the first interview we've had for them. I want you to first talk about like your experience with the leads, the conversations, and then we're gonna get into the actual sale. Because the struggle that other agents have had with these that I didn't see you have was getting in contact with them, which blows my mind because you have way less time to dial than these other people do. And just the conversations, man, seemed like they couldn't get over the fact that it was just life insurance and that they were struggling. But like, dude, you were killing it. So first, talk about the leads, bro, in themselves, like a little bit about the demographic. You've obviously kind of talked to them in your, previous role or job. But yeah, just take it away from there, brother.
Wait, do you kind of want me to just like talk about like how they are like on the phone?
Yeah, yeah, just anything, bro. You can talk about how they are on the phones, and then we could transition into like your script, what you're saying on the intro, how you're building value. What are you typically closing these people on? Is it IULs? Is it whole life, etc.?
So yeah, the blue collar workers, I mean, they're typically guys that are in their anywhere from like 30s to probably 50s, which for me is like the absolute sweet spot when selling life insurance because typically with those people, they don't really have a lot of health complications yet, and they're also young, meaning they're going to be able to get a lot of coverage, which is what they want. They want to see a big number, and it's not going to be out the wazoo in price. So when I do the blue collars, I think every single one I sold was an IUL because again they're all able to qualify for it and they're able to get a big coverage amount which they want and they leave happy with the price. So yeah.
Dude, 100%, bro. So walk me through like when you're calling these people, what is your intro? Like what are you saying on the intro and how are you kind of like building value? Because a lot of people are like, yeah, they pick up and they just want to talk about life insurance. Like what exactly are you doing at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the call and what's I guess like your sales process that you're taking them
Yeah.
through?
So my pitch actually probably takes like only 10-15 minutes. I mean, my average phone call is probably 30 minutes long. I get going, move it fast, and then on to the next. So when also I should have said last thing I was talking about, the blue collars, they're going to be welders, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, so that kind of demographic of blue collars. So my intro is pretty simple. It's, hey John, this is James. I was actually reaching out to you about the request you sent in for the blue collar IUL coverage. Like, oh yeah, I remember sending that. And I was like, okay, awesome, John. Well, here I see that you're in HVAC and you're 39 years old. Is that correct? And they're like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And then I'm like, okay, so tell me, I mean, how long have you been looking to get this set up for? Do you already have any insurance? And then from there, I like to control the conversation, and my sales tactic is question-based selling. So I like to ask a lot of questions to them and kind of make them tell me why they want it. So, my first kind of big question that I get into is, so yeah, I mean, John, what were you kind of looking for insurance wise primarily? Was it, take care of final expenses? Were you wanting to leave something behind for your family? Was it an income replacement? Could have been if they wanted to leave or take care of their mortgage. You have to figure out what made them fill out the form, why. So yeah, then I'll kind of figure out, why they actually want the insurance, what they need it for. And then the next question following that is, okay, yes, so John, yes, so I heard that, you wanted to make sure that your family was taken care of. Did you have anyone in specific? Was it a wife, kids, friends? You wanted your beneficiary on the policy? And then they'll say, I wanted my wife, Lisa, as the beneficiary. And then I kind of jump into right after that. As soon as they tell me who they want as the beneficiary, I'm immediately jumping into, okay, I'm going to explain to them how the IUL works. Okay, John, have you actually heard about how the IUL works? Do you actually know anything about it? And then most of the time, pretty much every time, they're going to say no. They don't really know what an IUL is. And then that's where I kind of say, so yeah, John, I mean, it's a life insurance policy. Obviously, you have a death benefit. But kind of the cool thing about this is you're actually going to build some cash value with this. So every monthly premium you pay into this, you're actually going to be putting some of the premium aside for obviously the cost of insurance for when you pass away, but also some of it goes towards the cash value that you can borrow from, God forbid, if you need to 5-10 years down the road from now. And most of the time you'll get that tax free. Then also too, because you can structure those two different ways, you can do more of like a face value where they're covered for a death benefit, or also you can do like a maximized cash value to where they're wanting more of like the living benefits, meaning like the cash value part of it. That's one thing also too, like as soon as I say that, I'll kind of tell them like, John, which one makes more sense for you in your situation? Is it just to have like kind of a death benefit to cover your wife, Lisa, or would you looking more for like the living benefits and having some extra like cash value on the side if you ever need it? And then from there, they'll tell me which one they want. And then from there, it's just pretty easy to sell them on it. I don't even option close them. I don't list any options for them to say which one they want to pick through. I don't give them like $100 a month, $200, $300. I just say, so yeah, John, I mean, there's obviously a need for it. You kind of told me your whole situation. Based on everything I've told you, these plans, they're super tailor made to you and your situation. What do you think like roughly is a good budget that you'd be able to put into the IUL each month that you can consistently keep up with? They'll tell me straight up what they want to put into it monthly. And that also, I've learned, like for me, helps me prevent getting chargebacks. So most of the time, I mean, they'll say anywhere from $100 to probably $400. I haven't had anyone going below $100 on what they tell me they want to put into it, because, they do make decent money. I mean, they're blue collar workers compared to like veterans who are on Social Security. They actually have, like income coming in. But yeah, I mean, once they tell me what they want, and then I just jump in straight to the application, like, oh, awesome, we'll get this application pulled up for you. Should take 10-15 minutes, and then you'll be covered. Yeah, that's pretty much my pitch.
Damn, that's actually fire. So, bro, you're not even pitching multiple options. You're just
No.
like, whatever the budget is, and then you're putting together the plan with their budget, and you're just like, hey, with this budget, this is what you're gonna get. Here's how it's structured. And then based off what they said at the beginning, if they wanted more for like the life insurance, you're just structuring an IUL for life insurance, death benefit. And if they're like, hey, they want to pull money out and use all the cool things, you're structuring it for cash value. Dude, that's simple, bro. That's simple. Yeah. Dude, I mean, the process seems pretty straightforward to me, bro. There's not like, especially even from like a marketing standpoint, we try not even to overcomplicate it, right? It's just life insurance, and then you get on the phone and you sell what it can do, and I think that's where maybe a lot of people can struggle, because I think they want the people to come in framed to already buy a certain type of life. Like, oh, I'm gonna buy an IUL, or I'm gonna buy final expense. It's like, no, it's your job as the agent to put them in the right vehicle depending on whatever they're looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dude, by the way, don't know this. What did you bought what, like 25 or 30 of them? And what did you make off of, what was like your art? What did you make off that pack?
Yes.
Bro, I thought you bought like 2 packs, bro. You were just closing it, bro.
I spent $1,400. I think it was 25 blue collar workers. I closed, I think it was 5 or 7 of them, and I can actually pull up my ROI on it. I think it was, might have been like 12. I know there's like different comp levels. Profit wise, I mean, I was probably, I was 8,400 profit, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a good paycheck for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a solid. That's an 8x bro, return, bro. That's fire. That's
Yeah.
fire. Now, quick question. Are you doing anything at the end of the sale? Are you doing like referrals? Are you doing any upsell tactics?
Mhm.
Like, do you have any tips or tricks for eight? Because dude, what you just explained was masterful, but now I'm kind of getting in the weeds here. Is there anything
Yeah.
like that you extra that you're doing maybe, or things that you've learned over the year that you could give to
Mhm.
like an agent who's watching this, maybe like some free game or something?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, referrals are huge because these guys are blue collar workers. Pretty much every single one of them has like got a group of friends that they hang out with in their, work area. And at the end of the call, hey John, I know you're a blue collar worker and you probably got some of your buddies running around that don't have life insurance. I'll simply just say, hey, I mean, if you have their phone number, if you can give me their phone number, I'll actually reach out to them. I'll be able to help them out with theirs and get theirs set up too. And then I usually say, yeah, John, I mean, typically with these, I want to get them in 24 hours after getting you. So if you just want to go ahead and pull up your contact list right now while I got you on the phone, so you don't have to worry about it later, they'll pull it up and they'll probably give me, 2 or 3 of their friends that are in whatever work, say HVAC, and just give me their phone numbers. And then I don't really like the cold call referrals because that's not really going to help you get a sale. But I'll say before I get off the phone call, or actually on the phone call while I'm with them, hey John, if you could go ahead and actually just text them real quick too and let them know that me James will be reaching out to them and ask them about their life insurance and helping them get it set up. They're like, yeah, I'll shoot them a text real quick. I let them text the referral first before me, and then I'll reach out to them. And that way, it's not really a cold call. As far as like upselling at the end of the sale, yeah, so like I'll always try to upsell at the end because, I'm sure with America, let's just use America as an example. They approve an IUL up to 450,000. Let's say I get someone approved or I write an application for someone at 100,000. At the end, I'll be like, John, you actually got approved up to 450,000 of coverage. We can look into getting some more options for you. I don't really like to push too much for it because I've already got a sale. Sometimes they do, sometimes they won't. It's kind of 50-50. And then one thing that I like to do personally to make sure that I don't really get much chargebacks is actually write a handwritten letter in the mail and mail it out to them after I sell them. It's like, hey, thank you for your time and allowing me to get protected. If you ever need anything, reach out to me. I put my phone number on the card, and it's just like a nice little touch that I do. And I think, they appreciate it a lot. Most of the time, they'll send you a text message, hey, I really appreciated that letter. It meant a lot to me. And, the way to get sticky business.
I want to, first of all, it's fire. I meant to ask you something earlier, but I want to point this out. And it's making more sense, but let me ask the question. Context for people. So James, there's typically two type of buyers you have in life insurance from a leads perspective for listening, and I'll frame it. You have an agent who's buying religiously sometimes 2, 3 times a week. They're just spending. And it's not a bad thing. Their
Yep.
goal may be to write 50, 60, 80, 100. And then there's individuals like James that are very methodical. Now, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, he'll buy a pack and then like work it. Like he actually works it. Like I'm
Yeah.
dead serious, y'all. Like he bought that pack, it filled, and he just hit us up maybe a few days ago. He works the pack methodically. Now, are you doing that because you're trying to maximize ROI? Is that because of your schedule? Like, I guess walk me through that because it's gonna lead me to
Mhm.
my next question. But like, what is your thought process, bro? Because I'm noticing like you actually really work leads properly. But where did you get that from, and what is your thought process through that?
Yeah, definitely maximize ROI when I'm buying leads. I mean, if I'm spending $1,400 on 25 leads, I'm gonna make sure I talk to everyone at least 2 or 3 times. I'm pretty sure out of the lead batch that I got, I talked to every single person except maybe 1 or 2 of them that just never answered. But I'll still go back and call them, obviously. But yeah, I mean, even if someone in a lead vet tells me no, they don't want it, I'll give them a couple days and I'll call them again. Like, I mean, sometimes it'll work, sometimes they'll scream at you, but I'm talking to everyone at least 2 or 3 times on the lead batch.
Yeah, dude. So I just want everybody listening. That's the difference. Like a lot of people complain, they make excuses. They don't. They're like, oh, I try to call these leads, and especially when you get into leads like blue collars, truckers, regular
Mhm.
IULs, because the expectation is, oh, I'm going for like a higher demographic, and I should just call them, and everybody's gonna be ready to go, and nobody's gonna not no show me. Like I'm sure he had people that were no showing him, he just fall back up. I'm sure he had people
Mhm.
that, well, hey, call me back. He tried to call him back. but like he didn't give up. And it wasn't like he gave up and went to buy another lead. Like he genuinely was trying to work the lead. So his numbers are always going to be better than other agents who just buy a pack, work it for a week, maybe kind of work it, and then buy another pack and say, "Oh, I didn't get the ROI." Like he's methodically doing that, bro. So dude, that's dope, bro. And that meant like that's why I like these interviews because I genuinely didn't know that. I was like, well, maybe he's like ripping all sorts of different vendors, which you may be, which is not a problem. But like, I'm like, oh, no, this dude's actually working. He's actually
Yeah.
working the facts,
One
which is
thing, one
fire.
thing I'd like to add to that too is the piece of advice that I always like tell people like on my team is that at the end of the day, you'd much rather them hate you than you never even talk to them. That's one thing. Like I'd rather the person hate my guts than me like never speak to them and at least try and maybe sell them.
Mhm.
So
No, that's fire, bro. That's fire,
yeah,
bro. And that's gold, bro. Real quick, and then we'll transition to the end. Is I guess walk through your experience working with us. We are a different type of like lead company where
yeah,
so you have like a rep, you've got a community. It's not just buy leads, but for an agent that's watching this and he's like, I'm not in the community, I don't know what it's like. Can you walk through like the quality of the leads, the conversations, just like now we're transitioning from that, like the sales part, a little bit into Agent Lead Lab and like your
mhm,
experience with us thus far, bro.
yeah. I have yet to find a lead vendor that has high quality leads. Agent Lead Lab so far. The biggest thing for me and especially in this business, is the one thing that's going to help anyone doing life insurance scale is the quality of your leads, high intent leads. You can go and you can find, blue collar, quote unquote, fresh leads for $20 a lead and think, I'm getting a steal, but they're not going to be as high quality as, getting a text verified, things that are coming in fresh as they fill out the form. That's one thing that I like noticed immediately was pretty much everyone picked up first time I called them, which shows that they haven't been talked to at all, and none of them have they're like yeah I remember filling that out, I remember doing whatever, and I mean everyone that I talked to knew exactly what they had filled out. The only reason I wouldn't have made a sale is if they just couldn't afford it, they didn't want it, and those are sometimes things you can't really control. But in terms of being able to get in like a quality conversation and actually getting into a presentation, getting into a pitch, it's there. The opportunity is there. You kind of have to take the risk of maybe spending the money on it. I mean, that's just part of it. I mean, everyone on my team, I've kind of moved them in the direction of Agent Lead Lab. Just like, listen, take the risk. It's, $1,000, and, they all have, everyone should have to be able to have the skills, capability of doing it. And especially with these fresh leads, they make it easier for you. They're not going to give you as many objections as an aged lead because, they're filling a form out fresh. They're actually actively looking for something. So it's going to be a lot easier to sell them. You're not going to be running around with all kinds of objections with them.
Yeah. No, 100%, bro. I appreciate that, man. Is there anything else you want to leave with people that may have watched this? Maybe something I didn't ask you or any sort of value that you think would be good for any listener to watch this. If you
Yeah.
don't have anything, that's fine too, but the floor is yours to
Yeah.
take.
One thing I wanted to add on back on my pitch was I know a lot of people like, to option close and kind of describe and explain all the ins and outs of, let's say, like a whole life, a term, an IUL. The best way that I always tell all the people to sell them is you can't overcomplicate it. You can't, go into a 20-minute conversation explaining how it works. You have to keep it super simple, super concise, and at least maybe 3-5 minutes explaining the product. Because me personally, if I got a cold call and I had someone explain to me something for however long, like I'd get lost. I stopped listening after 2 minutes in, and that's why also too I make them tell me like what they want to pay monthly, because with that, it's you're not going to waste your time giving them multiple options to choose from, and then they're going to kind of get maybe overwhelmed by all the numbers and how the product actually works. You explain the product 2-3 minutes. Okay, you understand what it is. Now tell me, how much do you want to put in this monthly? Dang, they'll tell you straight into the application after that. Save you so much time. They'll save them confusion. I think that for me, and I've tried both, and I think that works best for me personally.
Dude, that's fire. One other thing, I just thought about that. Are you one call closing these people or are you booking appointments? Like how are you? I forgot to ask that.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, all when I call them the first time, I'm always going into every phone call. I'm trying to close them on the spot. Sometimes, you might have to reschedule because they have something come up. I mean, that's kind of part of it. Most of the guys too that are blue collars are actually at work and you call them, that's one thing you have to take into account. But for the ones that I do schedule an appointment with, I kind of blow their phone up a little bit, like make sure they're sticking to the time and they know about it. Let's just say I'm talking to you, Trey, and you're like, yeah, James, I really got to go, but we can schedule this call later in the evening. Okay, Trey, what time works best for you? They'll tell me, all right, I'm going to put you down here for 6 p.m. I actually send you a text from my personal number real quick while we're on the phone. I send them a text from my personal number with my business card and their time slot. And then I'll tell them, all right, Trey, is there any reason why 6 p.m. wouldn't work for you tonight? No, I think I'll be there. Okay, perfect. And just to make sure, Trey, I'm actually going to send you a text and then I'll give you a call like probably an hour before just to confirm that you're still good for that time slot. Is that okay with you? Yeah, that's good. And then I'll call them an hour before their time slot. Hey, John, reminder about our call, an hour. Sometimes when you call them an hour before, they'll actually be like, yo, I'm ready right now. Let's knock it out. Okay, we'll do that. Or, you call them, in the hour after and then they'll hop on and do it. Sometimes, they no show you. That's kind of part of it. But then that's what I'm saying. I go back and I'll call them again 2-3 times. Make sure I get them back on.
Dude, that's fire, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I'm listening to you now, and it makes sense why you making money, bro. Because no, bro, genuinely, bro, so many agents, the things that you're doing that you probably don't even really, you probably do know, but that are so subconsciously ingrained in like your process. So many agents don't even do that. Like they're like, oh, well, the guy told me to call him at 6. They hang up. Or they're like, yeah, put me in your phone. They don't wait for confirmation. They don't re-ask. They don't even follow up the same day. They just expect that 2 days later at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, they're just gonna show up. And it's like, bro, you're not like that doesn't even make sense. Like you called them on a whim when they were in the car on Monday. They're not gonna remember a lot of these people, you know what I mean? Like you're giving them too much credit. Like I text you today. Like I do that with everybody, you know what I mean? Like it's all about making sure you're following up, bro. We all get busy. So yeah, bro. I appreciate you, bro, for real, man.
And here's some little sauce that I do. When you actually text them, if they don't answer sometimes I send them like GIFs, like a funny GIF that's just like kind of random, and they'll laugh at it and they'll actually respond to that. You kind of got to get creative with it. If someone's blowing me off, like I'll send like some kind of sad GIF, like some guy crying in the rain or something, and be like, John, you're supposed to call me. Why didn't you call me? And then they'll laugh. They're like, I'm sorry, I had work, whatever. We can probably call in whatever time. It actually works. So, again, it's much better for them to hate your guts and you never talk to them again.
Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie, bro. You got a relentless attitude towards like this business, and I rock with it, bro. Like I like how you go about you maximizing profit, you're following up with leads, you're working leads, like you're not just giving up and throwing your shoulders up, bro. It's just dope. Man, for anybody that's watching that wants to work with James or has questions for him, etc., and maybe wants to join his team, if you guys are watching this, reach out to your rep, whoever is working with you, whoever your advisor is. They'll take care of you. If you're just a stranger, you can always, once you get in the community, reach out as well. I'm sure he's growing. He has a team. He has agents, etc. He's building something special. So, dude, brother James, thank you for hopping on today. And then for everybody watching, if you have any questions, just reach out to us, man. We appreciate you.